Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados.
Because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Nathan.
Welcome to episode 243 of Adventures and Mousecapades. Once again, D23 has come and gone. Disney fans are still trying to process a weekend's worth of headlines, and our friend Scott Gustin has drawn the short straw of helping us make sense of it all. For the third year running, Scott joins us after spending the weekend on the front lines of Disney fandom, where announcements are flying, rumors are everywhere, and everyone is convinced that they know what Disney should do next. We'll break down the biggest news, the most surprising moments, and what it all actually means for Disney fans moving forward.
So, Scott, welcome back. I feel like at this point you've become our official annual D23 Detox specialist.
Yes, and I've somewhat recovered from the weekend. Yesterday, all right, maybe I haven't recovered. I was thinking yesterday was Monday. So Monday was rough, but I'm pretty much back to normal.
Nice. Well, for posterity, we are recording this the Wednesday after D23, and the dust is starting to settle, and sounds like you didn't get too much of a con crud this year, so that sounds good. An opening question. We went back and listened to last year's conversation we had with you after D23, and one thing really stood out. A lot of the projects you kept bringing up as things Disney needed to address actually got announcements this year. Carousel, Spaceship Earth, Figment, the Yeti. Do you feel like Disney is finally entering a maintenance and modernization phase for some of these legacy attractions, or is this kind of a one-off?
Yeah, I think they're seeing the upside of it by testing the water a bit on Buzz and others recently, which have been well received.
Yeah.
And I think they, for a long time, Imagineering and Florida especially didn't have the best relationship on project timelines and budgets. And I would say in the last, at least since COVID, but I think it goes a little bit before that, they've kind of figured out a good cadence with Walt Disney World leadership and the projects that they want to get greenlit and work on, creatively. And by delivering those projects in a timely manner, on budget, in a way that's actually well received by, most of them, not all of them, by guests, they've kind of earned the trust to do this type of stuff where, it's worth it to redo Buzz when you probably could have just let it just rot for another 10 years and they didn't have to spend the money on it. They were able to allocate not a whole lot to that and get a much better attraction out of it. Yeah. I think it's just helped prove out the business need for it and the upside for doing it now. And we know as they announced a few, but there's others too that will come in the future that they can do alongside opening up Monstropolis and Villains Land. Like, we don't have to always have it be one or the other. But yeah, I think I wouldn't say that this is like in the tech world, sometimes things go into maintenance mode where, an app or a service launches and they're kind of like, all right, we're done like being creative on this. We're just going to maintain it. They're not doing that. They've just found a way to do both where they don't have to pick, we're going to build Galaxy's Edge and all of our money has to go into that because it's going to be so expensive. We can't do all of the other things that we want to do. Yeah. I think they've figured out how to be able to do both and use those smaller updates and refurbs as the cadence of new offerings while you're waiting for the bigger, newer things to open.
Right. And plus, it's a pretty low bar to improve, Journey into Imagination. Like, it
is. I mean, and it's like, I don't know, 15 years late.
Yes.
But, and I think some people, their reactions to the announcements, they're kind of baking in that thought, which is, it's about time.
Yeah.
But at least they're finally doing it. At least it was announced, and we have them on record for what we're getting. And some people don't want to give credit for that, and that's fine. People can feel however they want about that, but directionally, it is a good sign to see that they're not just keeping their ears plugged on some of these things.
Yeah.
Not all things. They are keeping their ears plugged on others, but at least it seems we're heading in the direction where they're listening and they're acknowledging, I guess, too. Like they were always hearing it. They're just acknowledging it now that, we need to fix that.
Last time we talked after the D23 Expo, one of your big observations was that Disney seemed to have listened to the criticism from the 2022 Blue Sky era, and they came back with projects that felt much more concrete. After this year's D23, do you think Disney is still moving in that direction, or might they slip back towards concept-first storytelling?
I think they're still giving concrete details, on the announcements. I wish they were more specific on timelines. But I don't think I have a realistic expectation there. Like I get both sides of it. Yeah. I don't want Disney to be constantly communicating and walking back and adjusting timelines. I think the timeline, even if they're vague, it allows people to feel excited, more excited, or potentially less excited for something when they hear about it, if they know it's coming soon. Versus, the Figment example, we have no idea when that project's going to get prioritized.
Right.
I have heard that it is going to happen sooner than people think, but we don't know that until they say it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would prefer that them not say it than come out there and say, we're going to do it next year, and then it get kicked down the road, because as soon as that happens, people lose faith in it ever happening, like Avatar at Disneyland, right? Like people are just now thinking that ain't never going to happen.
Right.
Even though I still think it is, but I get why people would think that's never going to happen. So I wish there had been some more rough outline of the cadence of these things. Even just knowing, is Figment happening before Yeti or vice versa? Are they going to happen at the same time?
Yeah.
Is this like a 2030 project? Is this a 2027 project? It would be nice to know that, but I get why they don't say it.
Sure. So if D23 is Disney's chance to tell fans and investors what the future looks like, what is the big story this year? What's the narrative that Disney was really trying to tell across the whole event?
I think Disney as a company has been, since Josh D'Amaro took over, really focused on like the fandom, the fans being at the core of what they do, wanting to connect with fans, wanting to reach fans across the business, the One Disney approach that they are pushing very, very hard, all the corporate synergy crap that I don't like, but it shows up in the earnings reports and shareholder meetings and everywhere else.
Yeah.
I think they wanted to respect the guests that they had given general details about projects by following up and saying, here's more in Villains Land. We are doing this. We are working on it. It's not, nothing has changed as many people thought.
Yeah.
They wanted to follow up with those fans, but they also wanted to like show that they hear them. And that's why something that's not in the big picture, announcing that you're fixing an animatronic that's needed fixing for 20 years is not like a big announcement. But the fact that they are doing it and doing it in that space where the fans that know what that is and want it and can appreciate it, I think just shows an awareness of not only listening to fans, but wanting to show them that they're listening, proving it out. So I think that was kind of the overall, you always want to put on a good show, but you can put on a good show and then make a bunch of announcements that go in the other direction. Like this is the first one where I feel like they wanted to put on a good show, and they also wanted announcements that kind of align with the fandom. And I would say 98% of what they said kind of fits into that bucket.
Yeah. Plus, you had an excuse to get Gloria Gaynor on, to talk about fixing Disco Yeti, like you were just alluding to. So that's important. That's a big deal.
That was really funny. And I will give credit to a friend who, when we got to the Honda Center, he noticed the disco balls in the rafters because they had to be up there to lower. And he's like, it sure looks like disco. It's like, is this Disco Yeti? Are we getting this? And he called it just based on the decorations that were in the rafters. So
that's awesome.
Funny.
You spend a lot of time paying attention not just to what Disney says, but also what they choose not to say. What was the biggest omission this year?
I didn't like how for Tropical Americas they didn't say 2027.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating. I think it's because that land is going to open in phases, potentially. And they just didn't want to kind of admit that what they said previously, which is the whole land would open in 27, that might not happen. Maybe it still will, but they're less sure of it. And they didn't want to double down on something that they're not as confident in right now.
Yeah.
So that space there that leaves people unsure about it, like that, I felt like that was an omission. As far as like things they announced, I think that was the biggest one. I mean, I didn't like that they announced Spaceship Earth again. That was something that I had kind of said before, and I still feel like you don't announce something twice. And they did. That's what they did with Spaceship Earth. It's seemingly, because they were so vague, the same type of, I don't think it's the exact same vision for the refurb, but it's basically the same type of update. And this is the second time they've announced it. If it were me deciding what to say, I would say, guys, we can't do this again. We can't. This is like the Charlie Brown football, right? Like I don't know how many times we have to do it. And it's not something, as it was presented, I don't think it's something that's like getting people super excited.
Right.
I mean, I think they want Spaceship Earth to get the love.
Right.
But without the vision, and the vision was provided last time, that one I didn't really, really love.
I wonder if they backed themselves into that one, because if they were going to mention the Figment update, if they were going to fix the Yeti and some of this other stuff, that if they didn't also say, oh, by the way, we're going to fix the ball too, like it would leave people with like a more bitter aftertaste in, social media and everything else of people going like, you said you were going to fix this other thing too. Where's that? So I wonder if it was not intentional, but they just had to.
Yeah. I would say, but I'm not sure about like omissions. I mean, there were things I thought that I think the fans were convinced that they were going to talk about a Space Mountain update in Magic Kingdom because there's been a lot of rumors about that. I never, based on the rumors that have been going around, I didn't think it made a ton of sense because it does sound like, at least right now, they're significantly changing that attraction. And no matter how badly that track needs to be updated and smoothed out.
Yes.
I do think completely changing the experience, which is what some of the rumors are suggesting, there's going to be people that are upset that the original, dual track Space Mountain might be going away.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever in these things want to talk about anything that's going to split the fandom. So that one was not a surprising omission. I think it was surprising for some other people that were expecting it.
I wonder if they're waiting to see how, Tokyo and Paris do and how the reception is on that once they execute those projects. And maybe that'll influence what they do in Florida.
Yeah. I mean, the Tokyo one, I think people are excited about because, there's not as much history obviously there with that space, but, it was a very ambitious, project that they're taking on there.
And I should say they are basically replacing the Tokyo Space Mountain, and they are bringing back the original theme of the Paris Space Mountain and going away from Hyperspace Mountain. Sorry, not everybody that listens is in my brain and knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and the look of the Paris, going back to the original. I love the artwork and the vision on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think there were some that were surprised that there was no Walt Disney World Space Mountain mentioned in that. Many people that were walking the pavilion before Saturday night were fully expecting, based on the section of the pavilion that had Space Mountain featured, that there would be something about Magic Kingdom being mentioned there, but it wasn't. And I think we'll learn more about that soon, but I don't know how soon based on what the project's going to look like.
Yeah. 5 years from now, what announcement from this D23 do you think will look back and be like the big thing from the day? That was actually the biggest thing they announced, even if people aren't talking about it much right now.
I would say Tomorrowland at Disneyland. I think people are talking about it, but I do think that it's the biggest directional announcement for parks. It's for them to take on Tomorrowland when it's at Disneyland, when it's needed it. And I don't think it's just Tomorrowland at Disneyland. Like, I think Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom needs some more attention. And even though they're not probably ready to talk about it now, I think Tomorrowland at Disneyland is going to be more of an overhaul, where Magic Kingdom, I think they're going to continue updating things in that land kind of in phases. So I think 5 years from now, we'll look back. Hopefully Tomorrowland at Disneyland will be done or close to done by then. But just know, like, all these smaller things, at that point, the Yeti may be broken again. Who knows? But I think that Tomorrowland is a commitment, especially at Disneyland, over multiple years of getting that updated and right. And they somehow find a way to bring back People Mover at Disneyland, and we'll definitely look back and say that was the day. That was the day that it started.
Well, a couple of years ago, it felt like Disney was explaining their future plans, and now it kind of feels like Disney and Universal are actively competing for attention in a way that we really haven't seen for a while. Did anything announced this year feel like a direct response to the broader industry landscape?
I think I would say the approach to Villains Land in general, I think, was encouraged by the success of Dark Universe at Epic. I don't think they are trying to replicate or compete, but I do think it gave them confidence in that direction that they wanted to go. I don't think this idea that Epic Universe and the portal idea I never thought I was going to transform how theme parks are going to work everywhere, because it's just not. I think it works really well for Universal, but there are definitely things that you can pluck from those experiences. I think the coaster in Villains Land, the direction that they locked in for that, was influenced by the success of the How to Train Your Dragon coaster at Epic Universe, if you guys have read that.
Yeah.
You don't have to have, Disney's done it too. Everest is a good example of a thrilling coaster that doesn't have to be rock and roller coaster.
Yep.
And it's just as fun for small kids as it is big.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably more of it's not really a shift, but just kind of doubling down on parts of what we've seen from Epic. I hope Disney's not trying to copy anything from Texas. Because that Universal Texas, we don't need anything from there.
No.
I don't think.
No.
That's geared toward much smaller children, though, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
Much, much, much smaller. And much smaller budgets. From a parks perspective, but not necessarily ticket prices. Somehow there. But, I think the overall shift of focusing in on IP, that's not going anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just going to stick around, and then hoping that we continue to have creatives who are given this directive from an executive that's something in the way of when they walked in and said, guys, we need Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot.
Yeah.
Have fun figuring that one out. And then they are actually able to create an experience that is one of the most popular at the parks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we're going to have the same thing with Cars in Frontierland.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, and I think everyone that saw the model in person, everyone that I was listening to as they kind of walked up, were way more impressed than they thought they would be. Doesn't mean they're on board with it. Doesn't mean they're happy Rivers of America is going away. Doesn't mean that if given the choice that they would have said, yeah, let's put Cars in Magic Kingdom. But man, I think they did about as good of a job as you could ever hope if forced to do this project.
Yeah. I am excited to walk through that land when it opens. I love Cars Land in California because just the immersiveness in this other environment. And from what we've seen online, I forget the website, but they posted like 75 high-res pictures from like all around this big, I don't know, it's like a 15-foot square model of the space. Just the level of detail is stunning, and I can't wait to be there.
Yeah.
So, Scott, what are your thoughts on that? Because I know you were not super excited about it.
No, because from the beginning, let's rewind on how that reveal went. And this has been one of my harshest criticisms of the parks in the last couple of years, because 2 years of D23, they showed the concept art of Cars at Magic Kingdom, and that concept art, when you look back, could have been anywhere. It could have replaced Tomorrowland Speedway. When you go back and look at it, you're like, I don't know, where are we? What is this?
Yeah.
And then last time I did the same thing this year. I took a red eye on Sunday, flew home, landed 2 years ago, Monday, got home, 8 a.m. And then 9 a.m. they dropped the new Frontierland map, which showed Cars replacing Rivers of America. And that original concept art was not doing the project any favors either.
Yeah.
But I know that they were still trying to figure out what it was going to be, but to get the buy-in to replace Rivers of America, they kind of had to work faster on getting the message out than they normally would. But I think my main take at the time was like, if you're going to make a decision like that, it needs to be worth it. It better be worth it. And if it's not, then what are we doing? And they've done about as good of a job as you could imagine with the project.
Yeah.
Some people are never going to be fans of that being in the park, in that part of the of Magic Kingdom. But I tell you, if they execute on what you can see in that model, all of the detail, there's so much. I think the website you're referencing is either Disney Tourist blog or maybe it's Blog Mickey, but there's so many photos and so many like tiny details on the model. Like there's a cave, like a hidden cave on the mountain where there's a bear car inside the cave. Like the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
If they really execute on that, which I think they will, it's going to be an iconic land for years for families. I think the attraction is going to be fun. Like it's not going to be thrilling, but it's going to be fun. I'm not sure I'm convinced on the second attraction being worth the time, because I've seen what it looks like in Paris. It's the Paris version of that attraction. It's not as fun as Aliens, Swirling Saucers, or Tomatoes.
Yeah.
But I think it's still good for smaller kids. And I will take it over them cutting the attraction completely and only having one. So it's fine. But I'm much more, and I have been over the last year since they've given us more details, more optimistic on the project. And when you see the model and then you go to Disney California Adventure and you go to Grizzly River Run, that attraction and the water around it, it is very similar. It's very similar with things the nature they're trying to create and the feeling, the ambiance around Piston Peak National Park.
Yeah.
They're really leaning into that, and I think fans are going to love it.
Well, that's great, because one of my favorite things to do is just walk on that back path on the backside of Grizzly River Run. Like, that is a fantastic, just chill out spot in that park.
And if you look at the park model, they essentially recreated that in front of Tiana's. There's a giant waterfall right at the Tiana's bridge.
Okay.
And it's just like that waterfall that you have at Grizzly on that awesome back boardwalk. So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, let's put everything on the Scott Gustin confidence scale. Which project are you most confident will arrive exactly as presented? And which project do you think still has the most room to evolve before opening day?
I think Cars is pretty close to locked.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Villains Land, I think the attractions are locked.
Yeah.
What exactly that Magic Mirror Dark Ride looks like could evolve, but I think is fairly locked. I'm pretty excited about what they told us about Indy, and I do think that also is further along than people realize. So I think that one is pretty set, but I think we still have a lot more to learn on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the ones that we got details on are fairly locked.
Right.
The ones that are going to evolve are the ones that they were intentionally vague talking about. Tomorrowland, and I guess Tomorrowland would probably be the one because they were choosing their words very carefully, and I think that's a project that wasn't greenlit that long ago, where they finally decided that they were going to prioritize it at that resort. So I think that's the one that, even what they're thinking now for the land, could change before the next expo.
Yeah.
You kind of alluded to this before. It didn't get much fanfare this D23 after the announcement 2 years ago. Imagineering did show some more design concepts for the Avatar-based attraction in California, but now they are pivoting to prioritize Tomorrowland updates first, and we are all for that. What do you think the chances are that the Avatar attraction still lands? There's an awfully big pull throughout the fandom for Zootopia to be represented domestically, and they don't have to license that IP.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Avatar, if you look at kind of the timing of when we're expecting the next Avatar film to come out, it does seem that, at least for now, they're wanting to shift the land to more closely align with when that movie could come out. Those dates, and the date that it's even, I think it's positioned for, I want to say 29 or 30.
Oh, okay.
I mean, even that date, it could be a little bit further out. That date is penciled in with these films. But I do think it's possible that part of kicking the can down the road a little bit is to make sure that those films are moving forward, and they're going to move forward at the timing that would be expected.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Avatar movies. I love Pandora and Animal Kingdom, but I don't want them prioritizing a land for a franchise that might not continue beyond the trilogy. So I don't really blame them for doing it. And I like Tomorrowland being the priority over Avatar.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What doesn't really make sense is what they've developed for Avatar, I think, is really, really good. I think the attraction is maybe one of the best, from what I've heard. Could be one of like the best attractions, in the same way Flight of Passage is, that they've developed. And I know they've spent a lot of money on it, developing it. Can't imagine that it just stays on the shelf. I don't think Zootopia really makes sense for DCA. In that space, I don't really think it makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think Zootopia needs some representation for sure. We're getting a 3. Obviously, 2 did extremely well. There's a ton of international interest in that film, and they want international guests to come to the domestic parks as much as they wanted to go to their respective international parks. So it needs it beyond Together.
Oh, come on. That was the perfect replacement for It's a Bug Life at the Tree of Life.
I went there, saw it for the first time in June, and took family that don't go to the parks a lot. Some first time going to the parks. And a family member looked at me during that show like, 2 or 3 minutes in, and it's just like, what is happening right now? It is the most chaotic. I don't even know. The loose story that they try to thread it's something.
It is something.
So to me, I can't imagine Avatar not happening ever. If they decide that Zootopia makes more sense for the international visitors that do come to Disneyland and just domestic that are fans of the franchise, to put that at DCA, they could very easily take that Avatar attraction and put on the expansion pad in Pandora. I just don't think that such a detailed model,
Yeah.
an updated model, people are still actively working on the project.
Got it.
It's going to feel like a huge waste of time if they don't do it. I think it's okay to prioritize and shift things around, but if they just completely cancel the plan, this is not the Main Street Theater. This is not Play Pavilion. I don't think Disney either wants to signal that they're moving on from the IP or the franchise either.
Yeah.
So I think it's a delicate thing to communicate, even delaying it or deprioritizing it. But good news for Monsters Inc. fans that want to continue riding that ride at DCA, because it's going to stick around for a long time.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe we get Monstropolis at DCA. Once they do it at Hollywood Studios and someone says, we could do another version of Monstropolis at DCA. We keep the ride we got. We build a second one or a show or something in that corner. You build Monstropolis is a big city. You build another part of Monstropolis at DCA.
Yeah.
And then it's not a clone. It's just so you could always see them doing that.
Would the Doors coaster fit in the footprint of the Hyperion Theater that they don't really use anymore?
That door coaster is only going to be in one place, I think.
Yeah.
But they could easily come up with, some other type of attraction.
Sure.
I do think the show that's coming to Monstropolis, from what I've heard, is going to be extremely unique. Using some technology that has not been used in a theme park. It's still going to be a show, so it only goes so far. But in the same way Muppet Vision 3D was brand new for guests to experience, the tech in this is going to be unique. So they may want to do that again, like that they could take that to DCA too. But
that's cool.
I wouldn't say I want them to do that, but I
Yeah.
could see them doing it.
Well, and we also have to remember they have this whole Disneyland Forward project that we really didn't hear much about this time around because they're still working on a bunch of infrastructure and parking decks and things around it. So like there is room on the books for them to put other big lands. It may not just be where we're thinking. I mean, who knows? Maybe we get Monstropolis and Zootopia, and the Avatar land and that huge attraction. Maybe that all still happens side by side with all the new space that they're pulling out of a hat there in Anaheim. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I think the parking structure is part of Disneyland Forward, but yeah, I mean the vision they have is multi-decade, and there's no park that hates to talk about future more than Disneyland because so many of their guests are local, and they need people coming next month. They don't want to talk about 2 years from now.
Got it. Yeah.
And the Tomorrowland thing being announced is a directional thing, and because I think they haven't said this, but I think it's going to happen in phases where they're not going to close the land. You're going to have Autopia close, and then you're going to have other sections of Tomorrowland close. Right. As they work their way through doing all of the things. Yep. But yeah, they don't want to talk about 20 years from now. And I think very soon we could see Disneyland Forward as a terminology just dropped because they got it approved. They can do what they want to do based on the plan they put out. And then from now on, it's just projects, right? And not really this grand, massive takeover of Anaheim that is part of Disneyland Forward. It's going to just be, they're going to grow as it makes sense. Right. But yeah, we can end up getting all those. Avatar, Monstropolis, Zootopia, everything.
Are Disney fans getting better at understanding how long these projects take, or are we still expecting answers to questions that Disney realistically can't answer yet?
I think we're able to, most of the diehard fans are able to read between the lines. Like, no timeline and no date means I shouldn't be that excited. Hearing a year means, all right, we're going to get, a little more specificity in maybe 3 months. And then 3 months after that, we might get a season, and then we might get a date 3 months after that.
Yeah.
They, as much as I said that for Disneyland, not wanting to talk that, that far ahead, Walt Disney World also has kind of a baked in, we don't want to give people a reason to delay or postpone a trip.
Sure.
So we don't want to be talking about everything happening in the future. But I think most fans have kind of figured out, if they're not giving us a year, then I can check back on this later. I don't need everything right now.
Right.
They gave us a year and then they took it away. Why? What does that mean?
Right.
So I think I think we all were okay until the Blue Sky presentation. And then that kind of broke our brains a bit, where even the omission of a project in a discussion has to mean something.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney knows that now, because they've dealt with the consequences of that discussion that they had, where they, even if they don't want to talk about something, they have to acknowledge it or people will think it's canceled.
Yeah.
They barely talked about Abu Dhabi all weekend, but it had a place in the pavilion. And it was just a screen on a wall, because they knew if they didn't do that, people were going to be like, oh, they're not doing it now.
Yeah.
No one was over in that part of the pavilion. And I think there is going to be some new concept art for Abu Dhabi coming out tomorrow from the moment we're recording, in the new the World Builders documentary.
Yeah.
There's some new concept art. It's kind
cool.
of in the background, but I think it'll be another peek into what that project is for people that care about it.
Got it.
They knew that they have to have it. You got to acknowledge it. And if you don't, people are going to be like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Well, speaking of some of the uh-ohs, now we love our Disney Cruise Line fan community, and there was a lot of disappointment on those shores after the Parks and Experiences panel on Saturday. Were you surprised with how little DCL news we got this year? Or is this more of the same? Like, hey, we've laid out our plans and it's just, we don't build ships overnight.
You can't announce 4 new ships every 2 years.
Why not?
Unless you're Royal Caribbean. Like, you can't, and Disney's not. Disney's not trying to do that. But you can't, the numbers don't add up to announce 4 new ships every 2 years.
Right.
If we get to a 2-ship-a-year cadence like Royal, maybe they start doing that.
Yeah.
The big thing I don't think people thought enough about, especially for cruise line, is the fast doubling of the number of ships that they have, doubling the number of ships they have to fill. They're very much focused on filling those ships right now.
Yes.
Getting those ships in the ports and itineraries that make sense for getting those ships booked out. We've all seen they're running discounts more than Disney Cruise Line ever has.
Yep.
A lot of that's the economy, but a lot of it is they have double the number of rooms to fill.
Right.
I love Cruise Line with all of my heart, but they didn't have to think very hard to fill the ships when they only had 4.
Right.
And 2 of them were always at Port. The Dream and the Fantasy were always at Port Canaveral, running 3, 4, and 7s. Those cruises book themselves.
Yeah.
That's not where we are anymore. People want to go on the new ships. And then so those are in certain places. Those have to be at Port Canaveral where most of the guests come in there. And then you got to put the other ships elsewhere. And then those prices get discounted to the point where people are like, maybe we'll drive or fly to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
People are actually having to make considerations where for a long time it was kind of like, nope, this is the cost of doing business. If you want to cruise with Disney, you just got to pay whatever they want over the summer to get on the Fantasy. So for them to come out and make some massive announcements never really made sense. And they've already committed to revealing the Believe in October.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they can only say so much about that because, they still have promised to reveal it in October. So you knew you were only going to get a little bit on that.
Do you think they pushed that off because they were running out of time at D23?
Pushed off revealing the Believe?
Yeah.
No, it's all timing. It's all timing. Like they don't want to reveal the Believe right now because they're still trying to sell the ships that they got. You know, I think strategically, October is a year from when the ship's going to come out. That's kind of what they've decided is what actually makes sense for revealing it, because it's going to open up for booking. Like that's what they, as a business, decided to do. D23 just happened to fall in August. So I think they decide we're going to reveal then. And then the way the company works is D23 is like, well, we need you to give us some stuff to talk about. We need to talk about something here, because if we don't, then it feels like an omission. Right. But, you know, they talked about the new ship class. They showed that teaser video. I was hoping
for more. Yeah, I was really hoping for more on that.
I was too, 100%. It's the thing I'm most curious about. I'm definitely interested to see what they do with the Believe, but I know that ship front and back. Right. It's kind of just a sign swap with a lot of the venues. Yep. I do think they're going to do a couple different things with the Believe. It will be interesting. It's not just a retheme of the Sweet Shop. But I wanted more on the new ship class, but I also was willing to acknowledge it doesn't make any sense to do a big talk about it, because they got a lot of time and they still need to reveal the Believe before they give people a reason to say, nah, we're just going to wait for that because that looks good. That looks cool.
Yeah. What's your theory on the notch in what they did show of the new Meridian class, or what everybody's calling the Meridian class? Now, there is this, clearly there's a promenade deck around deck 4 that goes around the ship, but then there's this big hunk of windows that look like floor-to-ceiling windows on deck 3. Kind of, I guess that would be the main lobby, the main atrium right there that would go out to the side with windows. Thoughts?
I think they heard feedback on, especially the Wish, that the atrium can be a bit dark, you know, and I think that is going to be a wow moment to have all of that light in that atrium. I don't think it's the case, but it does make me wonder also, like we didn't see anything from above the ship looking down, but I do wonder if they don't try to create something similar to the Adventure that has the open air.
Would they have room?
That's the thing. When it's such a small ship, it's really hard to have room to do that unless you're giving up a bunch of real estate.
Maybe on the bow.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe.
Yeah.
But I think that the glass is just the atrium. But definitely super intrigued by that.
Yeah.
There's also one other fun thing that no one has talked about that I noticed only in the video that they showed in the Honda Center and the one that's on Disney Plus. But if you watch that one, because all the social videos crop it, the full width video, at the end of it, if you watch the left side of the screen, there is land that, as the ship, in the last 2 seconds, the land that is there, which is just green trees, it's like a time lapse, and it shows suddenly like a resort. Trees and a beach in the left side. And it literally transitions in the way that all of the other animation in the beginning of the video were, where the blueprints were jumping from like one version to the next version to the next version. So go watch that. And when I saw it, I was like, hang on a second. Are they dropping a little hint here that is this a hint? Does this matter? Or is it just how the computer viz program that they used to output this video? It's like a video game when you zoom in and zoom out and things, you know, are just trees, and then you zoom in and suddenly you can see that there's a resort there. But that definitely caught my eye when I watched it, and I was like, hang on a minute.
All right. Scott Gustin calls Lookout Key Phase 2 includes a resort.
I mean, now you're going to go watch it. And you're going to be like, okay, I get it. I see it. But I think it's the latter. I think it's just the the computer program
Yeah.
in the way that but it is once you notice it, it's distracting so much that you're kind of like, dang, that wasn't supposed to be there. How did someone not notice this?
I made Nathan and Alicia stand uncomfortably close to their home theater and watch the D23 video. Those were definitely just trees and not a resort. But nice try, Scott. Love the wishful thinking.
The cruise line segment for cruise line fans was not satisfying, and for non-cruise line fans, it felt like a waste of time. Was the feedback that I got. I was somewhere in the middle. Like, I wanted more, but I get why they weren't doing it. It certainly didn't feel like a waste of time, because it is such an important part of the experience's business that you got to talk about cruise.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of hoping that they would use it for committing, just saying something like, I mean, they said they're going to double the number of cruises from the West Coast.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have used it to just say, like, we're going to home port a cruise ship in San Diego year round. Something for that audience made a lot more sense. But that was my only disappointment, was that.
Yeah.
Well, after everything revealed at D23, what is the biggest narrative that Disney fans are getting wrong this week?
I think, I mean, I saw a ridiculous take right after it was over on Twitter, which is our favorite place for bad takes. But it was someone just kind of saying, like, I guess Disney's just going to give fans whatever they want now, you know? And it's kind of, what are we doing, y'all? What has happened? I think the problem with the last expo is there were a lot of big picture reveals and lands.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Disney did a lot to try to manage expectations for this one. Like, you can't do that every 2 years, or you'll never build anything.
Right.
If you were announcing that type of stuff every 2 years.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to work on the things that you've announced. And I think that obviously is what they did. And I guess there were some that were still expecting these sneaky surprise announcements, which they got, just without specifics.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's not, I don't think it's fair to ever say that it's anyone getting it wrong. Like, my take is not right. Your take is not right or wrong. But I do think it's maybe just being understanding of what happened last time. You know, when you decide to, redo your house or whatever project you have in your life, like, it starts really fast and you make a bunch of decisions in the beginning.
Yeah.
Then you got to, like, call the plumber. You got to do all this, like, really, like, not exciting stuff to get to the fun part, which is having your kitchen remodel or whatever it is.
Right.
That was a little bit of what this time was.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have more on the big reveals, where it felt more real.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was kind of saying earlier, like, if it was, we're going to fix the Yeti this year or something.
Yeah.
I know that fans would be more excited if they knew things were more confirmed in a way that they were willing to put a date on it.
Got it. Yeah.
But I get why they're not.
Yeah.
So I would say anyone's getting that wrong. It's just maybe not realistic to have all that, the expectations for all of that all come true.
Right.
I read some predictions people had, and they were not reading the tea leaves on lowered expectations. Like, I just the idea that Disney would be saying that, lowering expectations for this in every way that they could without saying, please lower expectations. But then to see people that were predicting a third gate announcement for Disneyland, it's like, are we on the same planet? Expectations are everything. If you go in with those, you're going to be disappointed.
Yes.
So I wouldn't say they're getting it wrong, but it may be just not being realistic.
Yeah.
Is probably the best way to say it.
They announced something like $60 billion worth of spend over a decade 2 years ago. And it's like, you don't spend $60 billion overnight. Like, it actually does take a lot of effort and a lot of time to spend that much money on capital stuff like cruise ships and parks and rides and all the rest of that stuff. So yeah, I think this was kind of in line with my expectations. We were seeing stuff happen. We were starting to see some positive movement towards, hey, we're not just going to build new stuff. We're actually going to fix up some of the things that we know have needed some attention for a long time. And that's all good. And I think it was maybe last year when we were talking, you know, there will be probably come 2 years from now, maybe a little next year, but definitely 2 years from now, we'll have some of these things more concretely landing, if not, you know, close to open. And there will be a chance to start talking about, you know, phase 2 or 3 or however you want to count phases of what that next iteration of all these big things will happen. I think we've got lots of great stuff to look forward to in the future.
Yeah.
Well, last time you were on, you predicted we'd be talking about things like Figment, Tomorrowland, and major Disneyland expansion plans. You nailed 2 out of the 3, and clearly, you know, as we talked about, they're working on things around Disneyland Forward and all sorts of other stuff in Anaheim. Looking ahead, what are we all going to be spending the next 12 months arguing about?
First of all, I don't remember predicting that. So I'm pretty proud of myself.
We're keeping score, Scott. We're keeping score.
That's great. I mean, please keep score when I get it right. And then if I don't, just forget it. What are we going to spend the next 12 months talking about? I mean, I think for Disneyland, it's going to be seeing the trickle of progress for Tomorrowland, which I think, you know, is going to start with Autopia. They announced new attractions coming there. I do wonder if that means we say goodbye to anything. I think maybe that is something that we'll find out maybe over the next year, or it could be a Disney's not saying it, but we're hearing rumblings type of news. I think we're going to hear a lot of good things about the Indy ride and Encanto, but especially like the Indy ride, I think is going to be a surprise, very popular update. I think what they decided to do with that story is fun. It's super fun. And I think we're going to start learning a lot more and getting excited for that. I think we're probably going to hear that that's a phased opening, similar to Monstropolis, and maybe get some type of way to lock that in. And then I hope that I not getting a timeline for Coco for Disneyland was also frustrating. Not knowing like when that's going to happen. I'm assuming it's 28, but I don't know.
Is it going to tie in with the new movie?
Yeah, maybe so. It was shocking to hear that Avengers is not till 2028. I think a lot of people thought that we were going to see that opening in 2027.
Yeah.
But I think it's over the next year, it's going to be people wanting to know, all right, when is Figment starting? What are we doing? When is that happening? I genuinely have no clue on that. Same for whatever's going to happen with the Yeti. I can't imagine them doing the Yeti without it requiring some significant downtime.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's as extreme as everyone talks about, having to cut the top off the mountain or bulldoze it to the ground to remove that Yeti. That's not what's happening. But they still are going to have to close it for a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
And it does feel like you don't do that until you at least have Indy open.
Oh yeah.
In tropical. So
Yeah.
maybe part of the phased opening for that is going to be getting Indy open while they finish Encanto.
Yeah.
And then maybe even waiting for the whole land open before you close Everest. So I think everyone's going to be trying to figure out how the slots work out.
Yeah. I think their ability to finally do the Yeti is honestly all about materials science, and that if you have a lot more lightweight and high strength materials that you can work with these days.
Smaller servos.
And you don't need to have, millions of tons. It's not that much of steel to do that stuff. And so, with the 20-plus-year-old tech, you would have needed to do more open heart surgery on that mountain. But I think they can do something really spectacular with modern animatronics that are a lot more lightweight and really deliver the original vision in something that's not going to be as structurally impactful on that ride. So I'm thankful that just like all good things, the idea didn't die. It just was on the shelf for a while. And now technology's catching up and we're going to get some good stuff out of it.
What's funny is I did share some updates that Disney didn't really put in clear terms about, it will be the same. They're updating the animatronic, not putting in a new animatronic. But when I looked at the concept art, it looks like a new Yeti.
Yeah.
Complete new, for those of us that did see it when it worked, which I saw it once.
Yeah.
Or have seen a special in Discovery that shows it, or you have seen one of the creepy photos that people got of it in the cave. It looks completely different in that concept art. It also kind of looks like a different location. Because on the ride, you go under the Yeti.
Right.
And the art shows it off to the side. Almost looks like the art is like an interpretation of part of the ride where you're in the cave. You back up and then there's the shadow projection up on the wall. It kind of looks like that's the scene that's in the concept art. So that was my first thing when I saw it.
Yeah.
And being wrong on that, being able to ask someone who knows and be like, I think these two things based on the art, that's why I was able to clarify
right.
that it's not those things. So being wrong paid off. Having the wrong interpretation on it paid off for them to say, no, it's the same. It is the same animatronic. We are reanimating it and it's in the same location as the Yeti that you have now. Which they didn't really make clear in the reveal in the parks panel. Kind of made clear on the blog, but the wording is always, this is feedback that I'll give to any company, but Disney in this case, where when you know what you're talking about, you don't think how important word choice is.
Yeah.
Like if I know my business sells hamburgers, then I can get real creative with my thesaurus and talk about all these fun words to describe the delicious, tasty, hand-pattied deliciousness.
Right.
But then someone's like, what do you sell? Like, what? Oh, hamburgers. You forgot to put hamburgers in there. They do that sometimes. It's like they know what they're talking about.
Right.
But then they don't actually just say it plainly. And I think that was kind of the issue with a couple of the announcements is even the Figment one. Like there was some folks that thought the way it was announced that Disney was just saying they're going to put like a Dreamfinder meet and greet with Figment, and it's kind of like, no, that's not what they said. But then it's an animatronic. You have to go back and kind of piece together all the words to figure out what it is that's being announced. But they don't think about that because they know what they're doing.
Right.
And then it's just like, oh, we got to find a fun way to say it.
Right. And meanwhile, everybody's brain is melting and they're only hearing half of the words that actually come out anyway. So
I know. Yeah. I mean, you have Glenn Close, lover,
right,
accidentally saying she's getting a ride when, I could see the prompter from my seat. And in the prompter, it said land. She just said ride. Because the joke was supposed to be, it's my land. And she said, it's my ride. And then people were like, oh, third ride. No.
Whoops.
No. That was an immediate cleanup job when she said that. There were people saying, no, that is not, that is completely made up.
Yeah.
But that part of it is kind of fun to have that. But as someone who also watching that show, who uses all of the musical performances as the time to like catch up on what was announced and to cross-reference what they put in the parks blog with what I heard live and what, I do try to enjoy some of it. And I did get a good laugh out of that one because I could see what was on the prompter and I knew that she had not said what she was supposed to say.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, I have a couple rapid fire questions for you. So top of mind, quick answers.
Sure.
Biggest announcement that we'll get before the next D23?
Probably Space Mountain.
Okay.
At Disney World. Whatever the plan is there.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure on, but I would say that.
Most overanalyzed announcement from this D23?
Probably Yeti. Given that I got it all wrong in my brain when I first heard it. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
I mean, I think coming into it, overanalyze could probably go to like the Cars model.
Mhm.
Like, there's been a ton of discussion about that, and I do feel like the model kind of answered all the questions.
Yeah.
I could be blind to it, but I just haven't seen that much discourse around it now that the plan has kind of been laid out. So I think that was overanalyzed coming into it.
Mhm.
All the wrong information about Villains Land in the months leading up to D23 was certainly a waste of everyone's time, obviously. But as far as like new announcements, I'm not sure. I don't know.
What about the most underrated announcement from this D23?
Archie's Scare Pig Pizza.
For those who may not have heard, Archie's Scare Pig Pizza will be the new pizza restaurant in Monstropolis at Hollywood Studios, replacing Pizza Rizzo.
Here's a funny story about that one. So I knew that one a while ago.
Yeah.
I just got a tip on it, but I did believe it. I was like, who is this Archie? Like, I barely remember him from Monsters University, but I had like researched it.
Oh, it's University. Okay.
Yeah, and I'd kind of like put it out of mind. And then I somehow missed the announcement during the expo because it was just like rapid fire of it.
Right.
And it was like later that night I like saw someone talking about it, and I was like, "Where? How did they hear that?" Like because I had heard it,
Right.
and I had not seen anyone talking about it. And I went back and I was like, "Oh yeah, they did say that. They announced that." So that was a big surprise for me. But I would say underrated just in general, their commitment to hearing what the fans are saying, being very tuned in. That opening number, my goodness.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Like, I mean, come on. Like, the corny way is not for some people, but if you just run down the list of all the obscure references that were in that
so
opening,
many inside jokes.
so many inside jokes. Like, that is entertaining for those that get it, confusing for those that don't, entertaining for those that get it. But even the ones that don't should be able to appreciate that they are at least aware of it.
Yeah.
Like Olaf falling over on stage. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was, the only thing that was missing was an Epcot trash can. One of the new,
Yes.
Neil Patrick Harris unable to figure out how to open the trash can. If they had added that one at the last minute, that would have been perfect. I think maybe underrated, I think, are the details that we got for the Encanto ride. Like, I think this was the first laying out of that's going to be a really, really cool ride. Like, some really cool effects, like going up the stairs and that type of stuff. Like, it's going to be top, like, masterclass of a lot of things that we've seen piecemeal over years.
Yeah.
Like projection combined with ride vehicle. Like, it's going to be the best.
Yeah. That looked really exciting.
It does. Yeah. Project you are personally most excited to experience.
I think I would like more confirmation on what the Magic Mirror ride system is. I think we know what it is, but I want to know. That one has me most intrigued on the way that the story is going to be told. So that one I'm excited about. Indy I'm excited about, but probably my answer is the Bridge Run Rally, the Cars attraction, to see them pull that off.
Yeah.
It's got some cool things that they didn't talk about, like indoor portions of the ride, and they haven't really shown what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to like take that first ride around and see. National parks are my favorite thing, more than Disney parks. They are where I feel the most alive. They're the most beautiful places I've been. And to have this like best of thing that exists, it's going to pull from all the different parks.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to just see how they pull that off.
That's awesome.
All right, last one. One thing Disney fans should stop worrying about.
The trash cans. No. Probably Carousel of Progress. I don't know if there's a lot of people that are super worried about it. I think there are some, but I feel pretty confident that it's going to be the update that attraction needs.
Yeah.
And if they weren't updating it, it was going to get removed.
Mhm.
So there does come a point where you either do without or you do with. And they decided to do with, and they found the money to update it and make it more relevant to an audience, because we can all talk about how much we liked it, but I had not been in a full theater in that attraction in a decade.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be full once they redo it either. It's still going to have a low wait because it eats people. And not a lot of people in Tomorrowland are looking for a sit-down show. But it'll be nice to have some new relevant jokes and refreshing. So I do think that the fans can kind of give this one a shot and not worry quite so much about the change there.
I've actually been pretty surprised at the level of acceptance of people going like, yeah, we'll miss the old stuff, but it's time and it's okay. And I think to the point you started off with, Disney Imagineering and the parks have finally earned not just each other's confidence, but I think the fan community's confidence, and that they are going to deliver things on par with, you know, the new Guardians ride, or just even the revamp of Buzz Lightyear in Tomorrowland and Magic Kingdom. Like, that is a fantastic refresh of an existing space that is like, it puts it back on the list of things that I really want to do. And so they are covering over the sins of the past and journey into imagination with Figment. I looking at that ride as at least its current iteration is a sin of the past. How that got out the door in its current form is beyond me. And the fact that I'm excited for that to be refreshed with this modern take in what they're doing. So I think it's just going to be all good stuff.
Yep. Nope. Couldn't agree more.
Scott, thank you so much for debriefing after D23 again this year. It was such a pleasure to have you on. We will have you on again next year, and I'm sure in the intervening months as well, as big things come up.
Yeah, sounds good. There may not, we'll have to see what they do with Expo in 2 years, because Olympics 28.
Oh, good point.
So they may still have it, but it's going to be all the venues summer 2028 in LA, I think, are pretty booked out, and we could see D23 do something different for that. But even if they don't have it when they normally have it, we'll talk. We'll talk beforehand for sure.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thanks so much, Scott.
Thanks for having me.
As we wrap up, a reminder that we are not affiliated with Disney or any of its subsidiaries. Everything you hear on the show is based on personal experiences, opinions, and questionable snack choices. We are, however, proudly affiliated with fun and learning about the next new thing.
Absolutely. Prognostications. If you're planning a Disney vacation, we always recommend working with a travel advisor or reaching out to Disney directly to help make the magic happen. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please take a second to rate and review the show. It really helps other Disney fans find us.
If you have a question, a topic suggestion, or a Disney story you would love to share, please send us an email at podcast@ourmousecapades.com.
You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads at Our Mousecapades, and over on YouTube at Our Mousecapades Pod. And please don't forget to share us with your friends, your family, and Disney fans of all ages.
And please remember to come back next week when I let Alicia out of her tin can and back on her normal microphone.
Thank you so much for listening. We will be back in your ears next week.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.